today's episode of Beyond Vanilla is going to be a little bit different because I'm actually recording all of the audio in post because for whatever reason, the microphone that I use decided that it just didn't want to work properly for this episode. So aside from the very last couple of clips, everything is the audio is so bad that I didn't want to use it at all. So we're just going to go through and do a running commentary as the episode proceeds. We started off today's episode in a new build from Sheep, high in the sky above spawn. I think Sheep was building a sort of courthouse in the sky, and that's what we're taking a look at right now. It's kind of the idea I think was to take the what is it called? The moon door from Game of Thrones. And so whoever's accused of wrongdoing on the server has to stand right here where I'm perched at. And there's someone who's going to be the executioner. If they're found guilty, they get to get dropped out of the moon door. And if they don't have elytra, they might not survive. Lots of fun shenanigans going on. I did get him. I was worried I didn't shoot him at first, and I don't know why I decided to run away when all he had was a fist. I ran away from a sheep with a fist here. I mean, really, good job, me. The next thing I wanted to do for this episode was take you guys over to part of the Beyond Vanilla Rail Network project. And I was going to start working on the southern station. So if you remember, and I did not build that giant tower. That was not my doing whatsoever. But what we were doing was we were building out the south line. And so I built out the south line from the spawn island until we reached this area over here. This is a start of a very large snowy biome. I think there are some ice spikes and everything thrown in there. So I wanted to build a station. And to do that, I needed to clear out an area for that station to get built in. So we did a little bit of terraforming, more just flattening than actual terraforming. Just kind of decided to go with a giant igloo sort of look to it. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm flattening out the ground and decided to start building out an outline where we could build up a massive igloo that will serve as the southern station. To get a better look at the overall quality of the build, make sure that the shape was kind of correct, I decided that the best thing to do would be to test my flying skills and see if I could manage to land on top of the 1x1 pillar. And, well, let's take a look. And I missed on the first round, and here he comes back around for another pass. He's taking a really high diving approach to it, and completely misses and almost falls to the ground and dies. Oh, that was a really close pass right there, and it looks like he even managed to get a couple of blocks out on this particular pass. Turning around, here he comes. You can see the two spots there where he missed, and he overshot it by quite a bit. Pulling the shovel out, not sure what the game plan is here. almost. You could see he actually took some damage there as he managed to smack right into the pillar. All right, this looks like it could be a good shot. He's coming up, and he stuck the landing! He stuck the landing! Look at that victory dance. He managed to get that perfectly and land on top of a 1x1 block that's close to 100 blocks. That might be all the way up at the build limit above there. And now you can take a look, and he's looking down there, and you can see that he's got his layout or his outline there of where that southern station is going to be, and you can get a really good feel for how that rail line is actually going from the north where the spawn island is, where it'll come down past his mob farm and terminating here at the tip of the southern continent. What a spectacular move by Rocky Tiger to be able to land on this pillar. Looks like the only thing left to do is for him to take that pillar down and move on with some more builds. Looks like a couple of pillagers wanted to cheer me on as I succeeded in that, and I decided I was going to leave them alone. They're a little worrisome, and there's a pillager out here to the side. If you look just over my shoulder, he looks like he's having a good time, dancing around, spinning in circles. Let's not judge. Dance like no one's watching, guys. Another exciting change that was made to the server was the addition of the custom armor stands data pack. As you can see, I think it's actually Corrales' head because we still have all of the Hermitcraft Hermit's heads that haven't been removed from that yet. But we decided to add custom armor stands at the request of several of the Beyonders, and so I created this little kiosk where all they have to do is run up, press the button, and then they get their armor stand book. And I can already tell you from editing a future video that this mod or data pack, whatever you want to call it, is actually coming in really handy for some other builds that I've completed on the server. Couple of modifications to something that you guys will get to see in episode 13. Actually, you won't get to see it in episode 13. You'll have to wait until I show you afterwards because I hadn't actually done it yet by the time I had finished that particular build. Turns out there is a second iron shop. It was at this point on the server that I realized that business can be absolutely cutthroat, and that sometimes everything just gets completely undercut and there's nothing that you can do. Phantom Maple set up her own iron shop and has completely undercut me on the price because her iron farm has at least 2 modules, and there's just no way that I can compete with 4 diamonds per a stack of iron blocks. I think my iron shop is currently set up at 2 diamonds per stack of iron ingots, and there's just absolutely nothing that I'm going to be able to do to combat her. I've got too many other projects going on. I think that the iron shop, guys, that I built is going to have to close down. Very sad about that, but not really, because more power to her. I've got plenty of other shops and plenty of other ways to make diamonds on the server. Now back to the task at hand. I need to convert a ton of concrete powder into concrete because of the style of build. I made the silly mistake of trying to build an igloo with concrete powder and very quickly realized that powder just falls. So I had to get a ton of resources, and this ended up being nowhere near enough. I was very naive and thought that I had gathered plenty of resources, grossly underestimated the overall size of this particular build, and let me tell you, I think I returned back to my base to get more concrete probably 3 or 4 times, and also apparently found out that playing in third-person mode in F5 screen makes it very difficult to actually maneuver yourself around the server, or at least in my case, get outside of some very simple doors. My plan was pretty simple. I just wanted to get the superstructure or the shell of the igloo built up as quickly as possible, just to try and get it out of the way before I started working on any of the interior design. At this point, I've got absolutely no idea. I still have no idea exactly how I want the interior to look, but you need a superstructure first. Also, this pillager has now been here for several night cycles, and I just don't think he's going to despawn. The entire interior also became extremely dangerous at night because there was absolutely no lighting in this area whatsoever, and I got tired of filling creeper holes, so the obvious solution: prevent creepers from spawning in. I normally can't hear them because of the way that my setup is. My game sounds are too low for me to actually hear that sizzling, and I usually just get the barest of hints before an explosion rocks me and sends me flying, if not ends my life right away. So sea lanterns are what I had. They kind of fit the build, although they're definitely going to be going away at some point in the future. Finally, I managed after several hours to finish the overall structure. It did get a little bit more change to it. I added some details onto the roof here, and after flying up, you'll notice something that I noticed. It's not symmetrical. It's not symmetrical. They're right on this side that's closest to me. It's a little bit off kilter, and I don't really know how I messed it up, but it's okay because that whole section or that whole side is just going to end up becoming part of the entrance anyways. And you know, symmetry is boring. Who wants to have a symmetrical circular build? Asymmetrical circular builds are way, way cooler. I did go ahead and build up part of the entrance just to make sure that people realized that it was supposed to be an igloo and not just a random giant dome. One thing I did notice, though, is that with the placement of blocks like that, it looks a little off. So I definitely wanted to add in some slabs just to kind of give it a more beefy look to it. But I didn't have time for that, so I decided to go and spend about an hour, maybe about an hour and a half, AFKing at the squid farm, which is where my audio recording actually starts to work again. Super inefficient way of collecting all of the drops from the hopper carts, but you know, right now it works. Eventually I'll get around to building an unloading system, but first let's see how much we actually have gotten. Ooh, 1. And our grand total after an hour of AFKing is 9. 9 ink sacks. My best bet is that it's simply too many other people online. There's a couple other people on. I'm not sure. I think Maple, if she's over at her base is also in a river biome, which is going to affect the squid spawn rate. Sheep is working or has been working on something that is over an ocean biome, which is also going to affect the spawn rate. So it might just be that doing any sort of squid AFKing is something that's going to happen overnight or just when there aren't a whole lot of other people online, because this was a tad bit disappointing. And now we're all loaded up on white concrete powder again, so we can go back and work on the south station with our massive igloo. I still ran out of blocks. I need enough to fill that area, and I need enough to fill this area. And I didn't get enough to fill either one of those areas. But I am running out of time for today because where I live, there's this thing called peak hours for electricity. And we're in the peak hours right now, which means that I can't run the air conditioner, which means that I definitely need to get off and try and stay as cool as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and convert all of this concrete powder into concrete, and then I will probably be done for the day. that about does it for what we can do right here, although I am noticing I missed a little bit of concrete powder, but I'm going to take care of that later because right now I want to go and check on something that I hid on the server a couple weeks ago. When I first started putting the heads into our map, I also hid an Easter egg, and that Easter egg is a special custom villager with some special trades, but I haven't gone to see him in a while, and I hid him on the map for people to find if they do enough exploring, and I've got a couple of guys on the server right now who are on a hunt to try and find the old hermit. So I'm going to fly off towards where he is. And of course, I'm not going to show anything on this part except me flying towards spawn, because where's the fun in that? But I want to make sure that he kept his trades and that he hasn't despawned or anything like that. So we're going to meet back up once we reach his little dirt hut. And of course, we're going to have to be sneaky because Sheep is currently running around or flying around the server trying to find the old hermit, and so we're gonna have to make sure that we're very careful about getting to him. He's already checked the south and now he's checking the west. Not gonna say whether or not he missed him, just gonna say that he may have, but we're gonna head through the nether real quick because I need to get something from my base, and then we're going to fly over to where the old hermit is. Alright, the old hermit is still here. Let's check on his trades. And he still has his trades, and has some extra trades, which I'm guessing has something to do with the chunks unloading and then him finding the barrels because he is a fisherman. But as you can see, trading with the old hermit, you have 10 emeralds for a sponge, 30 emeralds for a heart of the sea, 8 diamonds for 8 wither roses. Not sure if I really like that one or not, we'll see. But then the big one is the 64 diamonds for the master sword, which actually I need to change. I'm going to change and boost up the sharpness level to something ridiculous, make it even more overpowered, just to make it a little bit more worth it. But as you can see right now, it's sharpness 5, looting 5, sweeping edge 5, mending, and also the curse of vanishing. So, almost walked outside. Don't want to walk outside, don't want to give away too much of the location here, but he's a little bit of an overpowered Easter egg, or has the potential to be a little bit of an overpowered Easter egg, and I'm gonna change him up a little bit, give him an even stronger sword to make it worth it for other people to try and find him, although I got them really interested just by telling them that he had the looting 5. I'm kind of hoping that no one finds him. He's not exactly in an easy to find spot, but if they do, that's all the more fun. And I've got some other cool ideas and other things that I'm going to be hiding around the server for players to find. But that is all the time that I have for today, so thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, you can subscribe. I put out new videos on the BeyondVanilla server Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, but with that, I will see you all next time. Bye!